Hello and welcome to World Insight, brought to you by CCTV International. I'm James Chow. What we bring you are 30 minutes of news analysis, and all of it from a Chinese perspective. Welcome back. China and Japan are separated only by a very narrow strip of water. With the efforts of both governments, their overall relationship is beginning to warm up. If politics and the economy are the two wheels to speed up bilateral ties, culture can certainly be called the bond. The cultures of both China and Japan have been closely linked since ancient times. They have a great deal in common and have influenced one another in many and various ways.
The 1,500-year-old Daming Temple is in Yangzhou, in East China's Jiangsu province. It's one of the oldest temples in the city. In the backyard stands a memorial hall, commemorating a monk who's famous in both China and Japan. Jian Zhen lived in the Tang Dynasty in the mid-8th century. In 743, at the invitation of the Japanese government and Japanese monks, Jian Zhen set off for Japan with disciples and artisans. It was the first of 5 unsuccessful attempts over 10 years. In the 5th attempt, fatigue and hardship inflicted a heavy toll. Jian Zhen went blind as a result, but he didn't give up. The 6th time proved the charm, and by then, Jian Zhen was 66 years old. Once in Japan, Jian Zhen preached Buddhism and revised sutras that he believed would save the world and its people. And he also passed on his knowledge of Chinese medicine, language, literature, architecture, sculpture, calligraphy, and printing. At the age of 76, Jian Zhen died in Nara, Japan's ancient capital. To this day, he's honored in the city's Toshodai Temple. The abbot of the Daming Temple, Niang Xu, extolled Jian Zhen's role in Sino-Japanese ties.
What Jian Zhen did contributed a lot to the cultural exchange between the two peoples. He dedicated himself to fostering the Chinese people's friendship with the Japanese people. Jian Zhen is an example for us to follow. We, as his disciples, should also contribute to Buddhist international exchanges and to good relations between China and Japan.
Communications between the two countries can be traced back to more than 2,000 years ago. Beginning with the Qin and Han dynasties, Chinese technologies like the cultivation of rice, mulberries, and silkworms, and textile making were introduced to Japan, along with culture that included Chinese characters, Confucianism, and Buddhism. During the Tang dynasty, Japan sent envoys to China on over 10 occasions. Abeno Nakamoto was one of them. He lived in China for several decades and became a senior official in the government.
Cultural exchanges between the two countries have a long history. In the past over 2,000 years, culture has always been a vital bond in Sino-Japanese ties, and the exchanges cover a wide range of areas, from philosophy, literature and religion to music, dancing and calligraphy. More importantly, such communications are imbued in both countries' cultural tradition and have profound influence on their politics and economics.
In recent years, the leaders of both countries have actively promoted cultural exchanges and people-to-people contact. Last year, Japanese Prime Minister Yasuo Fukuda visited China. He went to Chifu, the birthplace of Confucius, in Shandong province. In so doing, the Prime Minister recognized the contributions Chinese culture has made to Japan's development and the positive role it can play in their exchanges. This May, before wrapping up his official visit to Japan, President Hu Jintao visited Nara. At Toshodai, he paid his respects to the statue of Jianzhen, calling on people from both countries to carry on and promote the monk's spirit to push forward China-Japan friendship.
中日两国在这次胡主席就是5月份
During President Hu Jintao's visit to Japan, he and Japanese Prime Minister Yasuo Fukuda issued a 6-point joint statement on all-round promotion of strategic and mutually beneficial relations. The statement formulated the guiding principles for long-term development of bilateral ties. It recognized that broadening personnel and cultural exchanges is the most effective and reliable way of deepening mutual understanding and friendship between the two peoples, and the two governments will do their utmost effort to further boost it.
This May, over 200 artists from Yangzhou, the hometown of Jianzhen, visited Nara. They came to bring local residents a taste of Chinese culture.
I liked the performance very much.
The two cultures share many traditions, just like the ever-burning lights at the Jianzhen Memorial Hall at Daming Temple and at Toshodai. These lanterns mirror each other from afar and remind people from the two countries that efforts from both sides will bring a bright future of friendship.
Well, there's a Japanese saying that the wind may howl, but the mountains will remain unmoved. Chinese culture exerts much influence on Japan, such as Confucianism, Chinese writing characters, clothes and diet. All of these foster natural affinity between these neighbours, but building a bright future for their relationship needs the unremitting efforts of both governments and both peoples. That's how we wrap up this programme. If you've got any comments or suggestions, you can email us at worldinsight@cctv.com. I'm James Chow. From all of us here, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for your insight on World Insight.